Hello, beloved soul friends. Welcome back to another Conversations with Kristin, that magical part of your day where you explore human consciousness from the inside out. So today I'm talking about something that I haven't really talked about much. I want to explore the topic of spiritual healing journeys. And if you don't resonate with this, I invite you to go ahead and just click to the next video. There's lots of videos on my Kristin Chronicles YouTube page here that focus more on dream chasing, mental health, relationships, and other aspects that you might resonate with a little bit more. So today I want to talk about spiritual healing journeys and how we can hear God, or connect with source or the universe or divine spirit, or however you want to describe the God force energies of this miraculously expansive universe that we inhabit. So we are not who we think we are. We'll just start there. We're not who we think we are. Our automated perceptions of ourselves are coming from our neurophysiological wiring, but that's based in experience, and we are much more than our experience. Within our neurophysiology, within all the wiring and stuff, there's pure consciousness that is having this human experience. The neurophysiology is the completely human part. The pure consciousness that's housed in the neurophysiology is the aspect of where we are sculpted and shaped in the image of God. God is pure consciousness of pure love. And so our consciousness is also like that. But it's hard to understand this because we're experiencing this pure consciousness through our neurophysiology. And that's based in experience, which houses pain and fear and trauma and all of our experiences of rejection and not enoughness and all of these kinds of things. So we often don't really get the experience of pure consciousness because our pure consciousness is housed inside of our neurophysiology. And there's not an automated distinction between these two energies. In order to distinguish them from one another, it takes a really deep healing journey through life. Self-exploration and self-healing and self-empowerment, and especially self-love. So we have this pure consciousness that's experiencing life through neurophysiology. And so when we're in a spiritual healing journey, it's important to understand that our perceptions of God, the automated ways in which we perceive the concept of God, are coming from our neurophysiology, which is based in experience. And a few years of experience doesn't tell us much about who this infinite God or universe or source, or again, however you want to describe this God concept. We don't really get a good picture about who that actually is. And so one of the many aspects of a spiritual healing journey is learning to disidentify from the automated stuff that's arising, knowing that it's based in experience and not divine truth. I personally experienced some religious trauma, and healing that was a big part of my spiritual healing journey. And it taught me a lot about how the automated perceptions of how I understand God and interact with God and perceive myself in relation to this, big, massive, energetic, universal, divine energy, how I perceive my interaction, my relationship with that energy. It was all very deeply rooted in my neurophysiological wiring, which houses our individual personal experiences as a human being in this physical life, and does not have any relationship with divine truth whatsoever. It is only when we can learn to separate our consciousness from our neurophysiology and let go of the automated stories to step into the infinite potentialities of divine truth that we can understand more about this God concept, more about divine essence, more about divine energies, more about the intergalactic realms of light beings, however you want to describe it, however you want to describe God. It's all valid. And so when we're trying to connect with God, when we're trying to hear from God, we cannot do it from a space of being inside of our neurophysiology. It will always limit our ability to connect with the divine. It will always reduce our ability to know our divine essence and to connect with the infinite divinity of the galaxies, or again, however you want to describe God. being in our neurophysiology when we're trying to hear God will always limit our ability to connect. And so this is one of many reasons that we can find God in stillness. Because when we're in stillness, we are quieting our neurophysiology and creating space to be in our pure consciousness, pure presence, pure peace, pure love. That's the space that we can hear God from. We cannot hear from God when our neurophysiology is producing noise. God does not speak to us through our neurophysiology. God only speaks to us through our consciousness. And so if our consciousness is being bombarded with messages from our neurophysiology, we're not going to be able to distinguish what's stemming from our brain and body's wiring versus what's coming from divine source. And so if we're trying to connect with the divine, if we're trying to hear from God, if we're trying to, however you want to describe this spiritual healing journey process, it's important to prioritize our consciousness while also healing our neurophysiology, but understanding that they are not the same thing. Our neurophysiological wiring does not define our identity or any form of truth. We let that go. We step into presence with our pure consciousness. And this can be practiced through things like meditation. And when we're in that space of pure consciousness, there are infinite doors that can be opened to connect with the divine. When we're in our neurophysiology, there's just walls. There's no windows, there's no doors, there's no potentials. We might think there are. They're not truly authentic divinity communing with us. We're just hearing our own noise. And so when we learn to quiet this, when we learn to disidentify from this, when we learn to heal this and stand firmly in the pure consciousness that we truly are, then we create space to hear from God. We create space to connect with pure divinity. And that's a really good place to be. It's a really good place to be. So if you're on a spiritual healing journey, no matter what your particulars are, maybe the concept of God is brand new to you, or maybe you've had concepts of God shoved down your throat and it was an awful experience, or maybe it's something else. No matter where you are, just know that you are pure consciousness, pure peace, pure love. This is the truth of your identity. You are not defined by your experiences. You are not defined by your neurophysiological wiring. You are pure consciousness. And when you can connect with that essence of who you are, you will be able to connect with God in deeper ways, in new ways, in transcendent ways. Divine wisdom, divine love, divine peace, divine joy can pour into you. You can be liberated into the fullness of all that you are in brand new, transcendent ways. And if you're ever seeking healing journey guidance, I would be honored to connect with you through a Consciousness Consultant Call, where we dive deep into your healing journey, exploring your consciousness from the inside out so that you can reclaim more of your power through your own love. I would be so honored to connect with you as a healing journey guide. No matter what kind of healing journey you're on, and no matter where you're at within your healing journey, I'd be honored to step in. You can explore my website for more information, or you can email me to schedule your call at artistryofexistence@gmail.com. Divine energies have a lot of power, and they do want to speak directly to us. They only speak through consciousness. They cannot speak through neurophysiology. So as long as we're identifying with this and only listening to this and not connecting with our pure consciousness, our ability to commune directly with God is going to be very limited. But that doesn't have to be the case moving forward. There is power within your energy and within your love. Thank you for tuning in to this Conversations with Kristin. I love you. I appreciate you. And I believe in you. Namaste, soul friends. The divine light in me sees and honors the divine light in you. Have a beautiful and blessed day, soul friends.